The Seventh Tower by Garth Nix. Book 4, Above the Veil. Chapter 8. With the help of the two spirit shadows, Mila managed to beat back the spider's assault and drag Tal to the portcullis to gain some slight shelter at their backs. But as the water spiders withdrew, it was clear it was only a temporary respite. They were climbing up the wall, spinning sticky threads of web behind them. "They're getting ready to drop down on us," said Mila, watching the spiders climb. "They'll attack from above as well as in front. Gil, how do you open this portcullis?" "From outside," sobbed the girl. "Crow will come and get us." Mila scowled and looked back at the massed ranks of spiders, all those glistening eyes reflecting in the light of her sunstone. If only she knew how to create the red ray of destruction, or some of the other light magic Tal had told her about. Even better would be her Merwin hornsword or an Icecarl battle-axe. Then the water spiders would keep their distance. But she only had her fists and her feet. Even her knife was lost. A sudden thought came to her. The other free folk had knives. Perhaps Gil did too. "Gil, give me your knife," she ordered. The free folk girl was still screaming through the bars of the portcullis, so Mila had to shout at her twice. Numbly, the girl pulled a long, thin knife from the side of her boot and handed it to Mila. Mila smiled as she brandished it. The knife was metal and sharp, and it glistened in the light more brightly than the spider's eyes. She would make the spiders pay dearly for her life. She hadn't managed to kill any spiders with her blows, but she would now. 10, she whispered. That seemed a reasonable number of spiders to take as a death due for her own life. "And 5 for Tal." The water spiders were almost directly above Mila. A thin wisp of spider silk fell down across her shoulders. The front rank of spiders began to click and rustle as they moved forward in a single line. Their horrible hairy legs rose and fell in near-perfect synchronization as they edged forward, their fangs twitching and dripping with venom. Their eyes, thought Mila. She would have to stab them in the eyes. "Adris, Odris, I want you to hold each one in front of me so I can stick them. Then throw it back and grab the next one."
"I feel sleepy,"
said Adris, yawning.
"Very sleepy."
"Not now!" exclaimed Mila. But even as she spoke, the huge spirit shadow slipped down the wall and spread out on the ground, across the still form of Tal. "Adris!" exclaimed Audris, and she slid down too, to see what was wrong with him. The spiders chose that moment to attack. Dozens of them rushed forward, running on one another's back and getting tangled in their eagerness to get at their prey. Others dropped straight down or swung in on webs. Mila shouted her war cry, Gil screamed something, and suddenly the water spiders stopped and reeled back. Mila stared at them as they fell over each other, trying to get away. Surely her war cry wasn't that effective? A moment later, a great cloud of foul-smelling mist rolled past her. It was a foul smell she recognized, though she had last experienced it as a yellow ointment. Ebbitt's water spider repellent. She turned around. The portcullis was up, and there was Ebbitt and his main spirit shadow. The old man had a small barrel under his arm and a pumping device. He was working vigorously to spray repellent everywhere. Gil was dragging Tal through the gate, and Audris was dragging Adris. Hurry up, don't be late for the gate," said Ebbitt. Mila hurried through. Ebbitt backed after her, still spraying. When he was through, the portcullis rumbled down. "A spider bit Tal," said Mila. "I couldn't stop it." "Well, now I don't suppose you could." Ebbitt didn't appear to be terribly concerned. "They're awful biters when the mood strikes them, which is most of the time. You and young Gilmoff will have to carry him." "I told you not to call me that," Gil protested. Mila was about to ask Ebbitt how he knew where they were. Then she saw Crow and the other free folk standing by a large wheel that obviously raised and lowered the portcullis. Instantly, she pushed past Ebbitt, knife held low for a savage cut. "Traitor!" Before she could reach him, Ebbitt's spirit shadow reared up between them, and a sparkling loop of indigo light wrapped around Mila's torso and pulled her back. "Let me go!" roared Mila. "He promised to bring us to you, and then dropped us in with the water spiders." "That's what we're supposed to do for suspicious visitors," said Crow easily, "and all chosen." so we can leave them in with the water spiders if we need to. That's true, said Ebbitt. A precaution insisted upon by the leader of the free folk. Only the blue-tufted flower strike here was a little slow letting me know. Crow, corrected Crow, touching the black feathers in his hat. You know I'm called Crow. What about Tal? Asked Mila. I told you a spider bit him. And some things happened to Adris as well, added Audris. I can't wake him up. Ebbitt peered at Audris, who had her fellow spirit shadow draped over her shoulders. He looked at them through both eyes, then only through his left eye, shutting the right. He tried looking with his left eye shut and right eye open, then with both shut. Finally he opened both eyes again and said, Storm shepherds, I believe? And in free association, not bound? Yes, said Audris. Well, won't lots of chosen be running around gibbering when they hear about you? Ebbitt exclaimed. Now don't worry about Tal and, Pladros. The spider venom is only a soporific in small doses, and the flea folk have an antidote. That's free folk, not flea folk, corrected Crow. What is a soporific? Asked Mila. The word was unfamiliar to her, though much of the chosen and Icecarl language was the same. Something that puts you to sleep, explained Ebbitt. It could be a drug or something else, as in the sentence, Blue Strike's tales of his bravery were extremely soporific. Gil and Clovel laughed, but choked it back as Crow glared at them. Come on, then, said Ebbitt, clapping his hands. Mila and Gil, you can carry Tal. We must be off to the Lee folks' lair. The wee folks' where? That is the free folks' fortress. Where's the codex, by the way? Under your coat, perhaps? We'll need it for the meeting. It's up in the mausoleum, replied Mila. We had to hide it there. It was too big to carry. Ebbitt stopped, and a look of genuine consternation spread across his face. You mean you left it behind? It's the one thing we really need. You should have left yourselves behind. We brought it back from Einir, and that wasn't easy, retorted Mila. But we hid it. It will still be in the mausoleum. No, it won't, Ebbitt howled. He started jumping up and down on the spot. It can move of its own accord in the castle, at least, if not farther afield. It will wander off. It could be anywhere. It was too big to carry, said Mila angrily. We were lucky to get away ourselves. Besides, it is nothing to me. I am returning to my people. It shrinks, said Ebbitt mournfully. You could have carried it, or asked it to follow you. I don't care, said Mila. I will help carry Tal to your free folk fortress, and then I am leaving. I am going back to the ice.